Yeah, hello friends, good morning and welcome to this session. Welcome to this seminar. This is a Windows Server Administration seminar. So we will try to understand today what is this Windows Server Administration and why it is needed for us. Okay. So before we see anything about Windows Server Administration or anything about computer networks and all those things, I just want to make one thing clear here. There is a chat box here, friends. I'm just sending a hello message in the chat box now. Whenever you have any questions or whenever you have any doubts regarding anything, so this is a seminar, right? So it should be a very interactive session. So if you have some questions or if you want to add something or if you want to say something, please feel free to send a message in the chat box. So whenever I see your message, I'll come to your message. Okay, whenever I see your question, I'll just come to your question and address your question. So please try to make this session a very interactive session. So in this way, we can just try to explore as many things as possible. We'll just try to dig deep and we'll just try to learn, okay, lot of things today. We'll just try to understand many things today. It is just a seminar. We are trying to understand some very basic things. We're trying to understand some courses that we have to learn to start a career in networking. Okay, fine. So a very simple question here, friends. What exactly is a computer network? Let us try to understand this question first, and we can go to the Windows Server Administration or Linux administration or network administration and all those things. Okay, so what you see on your screen right now is a computer network. You can see clearly there are many devices there. Okay, there is a device here called server. You can see clearly there is a server here. There is a router here. There is a switch. There are some laptops and desktop machines. Okay, there is a firewall. There is some internet connection coming inside our company. There is a scanner. There is a network printer. There are some wireless computers and all those things. So what you see right now is a computer network. It is a very basic computer network that we see in any XYZ company. So computer network means the devices that are connected with each other. Like the devices are servers, routers, switches, firewalls, computers, laptops, okay, printers. All these devices are connected with each other. So that is a computer network. Fine. Now we have some more devices actually in a computer network, but these are the most common devices we see in any size network. There can be 300 computers in a company, or there can be like 50 computers in a company, or even there can be like 10,000 computers in a computer network. So there is no limit here, there is no size restrictions here. So if you connect two computers with each other, that is a computer network. If you connect 20,000 computers with each other, that is a computer network. So at least two or more than two computers is a computer network. Fine. So we have a computer network here and all the devices are connected with each other. So a server is connected to switch here. A router is connected to switch. A laptop and a computer is connected to switch. A printer is also connected to switch. So there are certain devices that are called centralized devices. And there are certain devices which are used to make communication between your office and branch office. And there are certain devices using which we can manage or we can control our computer network. So let us try to understand what is the use of each and every device within our computer network. Let us begin with a router. You can see there is a router here. Okay. So what is the work of a router? Router makes communication between two or more different networks. This is a very basic definition of a router. What is a router? A router is a device that makes communication or that is used to make communication between two or more different networks. Now, when I say two or more different networks, there are many meanings actually there. But one of the most common meaning we can understand here is one network is there somewhere in Delhi and another network is there somewhere in Chennai. Or maybe one network is there somewhere in Hyderabad, another network is there somewhere in Kerala. So how to make communication between Delhi and Chennai or Hyderabad and Kerala? There is a device called router using which you can make communication between these two different networks, Or maybe there is a network in India and there is a network somewhere in Australia, somewhere in Europe, somewhere in America, somewhere in Brazil, somewhere in Russia. So how to connect India, Australia, Brazil, Russia, Europe, all these places? By using this router, we can make communication between all these branches which are there in different geographical location. Different geographical location means they are in different countries, right? They are in different cities or they are in different countries. So router is a device that is used to make communication between all these devices or all these networks actually. Yeah. Now, I'll just try to show you one router here. Normally, whenever you think of a router, you may feel like your Wi-Fi router, right? Wi-Fi router is a very common router we have everywhere. So when I say router is a device that makes communication between two different branches, I'm not talking about this particular Wi-Fi router. This is only to share internet connection actually. I'm talking about a router called, there's a company called Cisco actually. So they manufacture routers and this is one of the router they manufacture. So this is one of the router they offer you. Okay, so this is the router we use in companies to make communication between different branches. And you can see clearly it is looking completely different with your Wi-Fi router, right? So see there are many different models here. And if I go with like suppose say 12,000 series router, this is the size of the router now. It's a huge device, right? So routers will come in different size and different shape and different like speed and all those things. So it depends on your company scenario. You can go with a small router, a medium router, or if a company is a very big company, you can go with this particular router. So these are the routers we use in our companies. And by using these routers, we can connect two different branches which are there in two different geographical locations. Fine, that is a router. Now there is one more device here that is called switch. So what is the work of a switch? Let us see. Switch connects all end devices within our network. Technically, it is called local area network. What is local area network? That we will see in coming classes. So switch connects all end devices within our network. So see here, this is your switch. And how it looks? Let us go and look at a switch here. So Cisco is again a company that offers you switches also, that manufactures switches also. Now this is a switch. You can see clearly here. We have many ports. Let me just go to some different photo. Okay, this is better. See, this is a switch. And can you see we have many options here? This is actually port. What you see on your switch, these are known as port. So this is one of the port. So like this, we have many ports on the switches. So this port, we can connect a router. Maybe we can connect a computer, or maybe we can connect a server, or maybe we can connect a printer. Means whatever devices we have within our company, all the devices can be connected on this port. Obviously on one port, one device will be connected. I'm not saying like, okay, all the devices can be connected only on one port. Okay, if there are multiple devices, we have to go with multiple ports. But what I'm saying here is on this one port, you may connect a switch, or you may connect another router, you may connect a server, or maybe a laptop, or maybe a firewall, or maybe a printer. So this is a device that we use within a computer network, and by using this device, we can connect all the devices that we have within our local area network. That means within our company branch. Okay, so this is your switch. So router and switch are the two most important devices we have in our computer network. So router is for one work and switch is for another work. And we can say clearly router is to make communication between different branches and switch is to connect all the devices within our local area network. So when you see the use of a router and a switch, you can see clearly it is these are very important devices. Without router, no communication with the branch office. Without router, there is no internet connection possible. Without router, it is very difficult to provide better security. Now, in the same way, without switch, you cannot connect more than, see, if there are two computers, we can take a cable and we can make a connection there. But if there are like, more than two computers, three, four, or maybe like tens and hundreds and thousands of computers, then we have to go with multiple switches. So we have to go with many switches and we have to make connections there. Now, this is router and switch. Actually, there is a course there where you are learning about routers and switches. And that course is called CCNA. This is called CCNA R/S. CCNA routing and switching. This is a course where you are learning about routers and switches. It will take around 35 days for you to complete this course. So there you are learning only about routers and only about switches. Okay. Now, there is one more device here. You can see there is a device called firewall. Name says everything. Firewall means it is a device that will protect your network from unauthorized access. See, everyone is connected to internet here, right? That is the reason we are able to attend this online session. Now, by using this internet, can we connect to a company like Google? You know, if you're suppose somewhere in Hyderabad or somewhere in Bangalore, there is a Google office in Hyderabad, there is a Google office in Bangalore. Uh, and you know, there are many more companies we have. Okay, let us take example of SBI, State Bank of India. From whichever city you are connecting from India, you know, there is a SBI bank there for sure. Now, is it possible for me to connect to a SBI office, SBI branch from my computer? I can access the SBI website, but can I access the database server? No, I cannot access the database server of SBI, right? People who are working in that SBI company can access the database server. But you know what hackers will do? Hackers will try to access the database server and they'll just try to manipulate the data. They just try to make some changes. They just want to transfer some money. It is one of the work of hacker, right? So what we can do here is by using a firewall, we can protect our network from unauthorized access. Firewall protects our network from unauthorized access. Unauthorized access means, you know, if there is no permission for a person to connect to our network, he cannot connect. So over the internet, no one has permission to connect to any other company's network, right? I cannot connect to SBA server. I cannot connect to the Google server. I cannot connect to the Facebook server. I cannot make changes in the database. So every company has a firewall that protects any user from entering inside their network. That is the work of firewall. So see, every device has a special role to play. Switch has a special role to play. Router has a special role to play, as well as firewall has a special role to play. But when you're learning Windows Server Administration, are we learning about switches, routers, and firewalls? No, we are not learning about routers, switches, or firewalls. For router and switch, there is a CCNA course, and for firewall, there is a security course. It's a different path, it's a different field. Okay, so what exactly we are going to learn in our Windows Server Administration? Now, in Windows Server Administration, we are learning about servers. We are learning about servers. Now, what is a server? You know, it's a very common question and it's a very common device that we keep on hearing. Someone may say like server is down. Like suppose if you are booking some tickets, like suppose you're traveling to some other city and you're booking a ticket. So maybe you'll get a message like the server is down. Like suppose you're booking a train ticket from Hyderabad to let us say Delhi. The person is saying the server is down, so it will take more time. Maybe you're transferring some, you know, money through Paytm or Phone Pay or Google Pay, whatever. Sometimes you will get a message like the server is very slow, the server is very down. So the transferring of the money is not possible right now. You'll get that message also, right? Sometimes, you know, you go to like Instagram or Twitter or Facebook and there you'll get a message like the server is down. So what exactly is this server? What it is doing in your network? Okay, let us try to understand that concept now. So when I say server, server means serving. You know what is the meaning of serve? Like if you go to some restaurant and if you order some food, what waiter will do? He will come and serve you that particular food. Like suppose you are ordering a burger then. So what happens? The waiter will offer you the burger, right? The waiter will serve you the burger. If you're ordering burger, you're not getting a pizza there, right? If you're ordering biryani, you're not getting some other like dosha or idli there. So whatever you're asking, whatever you're requesting, that particular waiter will serve you that particular dish for you. That is called serving. So server means it is a machine that will serve the request of a client. And who is a client? You are a client, I am the client. People who are using computers or people who are connected to internet by using their mobile phones and all those things, these people are known as clients here. So server is a machine that will serve the request of a client. Got it? Server is a machine that will serve the request of a client. Now let's see. For example, if I say www.google.com, you know what happens when I say google.com? I think whenever we access internet, we access Google for sure, right? Whatever we search over the internet, we go to Google and we search. Now, I can say www.gmail.com, or I can say www.googledrive.com. When you see closely here, what I said google.com, gmail.com, googledrive.com. That means I am connecting to the same company Google. Google.com, Gmail is a email service from Google. Google Drive is a storage service from Google, right? I am connected to the same company, that is Google. But how many services I am accessing here? Google.com is a web service. Gmail.com is a email service. Google Drive.com is a storage service. We can save some data there. Gmail, we can send and receive emails. Google, we can search something. So see, these are three different services available. These are three different services provided by Google. There are many more services, but these are three very, very common services that we access. So where exactly is google.com working? Google.com is working on a physical server. Where exactly gmail.com is working? It is working somewhere on a physical server. Where is a Google Drive working? It is working somewhere on a physical server. So suppose I am the person who is accessing google.com. So the Google server will offer me the google.com services. Suppose imagine you are accessing gmail.com. So the Google server will offer you the Gmail services to you. So whatever I am requesting, whatever you are requesting, you are getting a output for that particular request. Remember the example we said? We went to some restaurant and suppose you're ordering a burger, you're getting a burger. You're not getting a pizza there. So when I say google.com, I'll be getting google.com only, right? I'm not getting gmail.com or I'm not getting facebook.com or some other website. I'll be getting whatever I'm trying to access. If I say www.microsoft.com, what will I get there? If I say microsoft.com, I'll get microsoft.com website. I will not go to the amazon.com website, right? So whatever I am accessing or whatever I am requesting, a server will offer that particular services to me. That is a server. So over the internet, whenever you access anything over the internet, you are connected to a server. By using your mobile phone, whenever you access anything in your mobile phone, like any app, like suppose you are paying money through Google Pay or Phone Pay, or suppose you are booking a cab through Ola or Uber, suppose you are ordering some food through Swiggy or Zomato, suppose you are playing a game, okay, suppose you are on WhatsApp, suppose you are using your Instagram and whatever. Once you open that particular app, you will be connected to that particular server, and all the details will be there on that particular server. That is a server. So server is a machine that is serving the request of a client. Server is a machine that is serving the request of a client. I hope the concept is clear, friends. Server is a very, very special machine we have in a computer network. It is not possible to use a computer network without accessing a server or without connecting to a server. See, right now I'm connected here. I'm connected to this google.com. If I say like Cisco, I'll be connected to like cisco.com. You say this is your Cisco website. That means I'm connected to Cisco's server. If I say Microsoft, I'll be connected to which server now? I'll be connected to Microsoft.com server. See, this is your Microsoft.com. See how many servers I am connected now. I am connected to Google server, Cisco server, Microsoft server. So these are many, there are many servers available over the internet. Each and everything is available over the internet. If you want to go and check your score report on from your like college, if you want to go and check your results, then where we have to go? We have to go to that particular server. We have to use a particular link or a particular website link, and that website link is connected to a particular server. So anything or everything is available on server. Can I just go to Flipkart and can I do some shopping there? Of course I can do. So where is the Flipkart service running? It is running on a server. Now, in the same way, within our company, friends, we have different servers. Over the internet, we have servers. Within our company also, we have servers. There are many servers which are common within the company as well as over the internet. For example, there is a server called DNS. There is a server called DNS server, and there is a server called DHCP server. Right now we are connected to this particular online session, but in the background there is a server called DNS running here and there is a server called DHCP running here. Without these two services, we cannot connect to each other. We cannot access anything on internet. So the DNS service and the DHCP service is running over the internet, and this DNS service and DHCP service is running within our company also, within our local area network also. Fine. So let us see what we have to do as a administrator in a company. First of all, we have to take a server. This is your server machine. Server machine is, first of all, it is a hardware machine. Okay, nowadays because of cloud computing and virtualization, it can be a virtual machine also. But let us say a very general example. Server machine is a hardware machine. So first layer is your hardware layer. And what we have in hardware? In hardware, we have like, CPU. Whatever hardware you have in your laptop or computer, same hardware will be there in server. CPU, RAM, hard disk, NIC card. These are the four major components. Of course, there is a motherboard, SMPS, that is your power supply and all these things. But these are the four major components we have in a server. Okay, so there is a server hardware. I repeat again, server hardware is similar to your computer hardware. There is a motherboard in computer, there is a motherboard in server. There is a processor in computer, there is a processor in server. There is a hard disk and NIC card in your server, as well as there is a hard disk and NIC card in your computer or maybe a laptop. So the hardware is similar. And coming to this hardware, we will see more about hardware in our coming classes. Okay, so I'm not going deep into the hardware part and the differences between computers and server as of now. Okay, so there is one layer, there is your hardware layer. Fine. Now on top of this hardware layer, we have one more layer here, that is your operating system layer. You should know this very well. A hardware is just a dummy device, a dummy machine without a operating system. So whether it is your router or a switch or a server or a firewall or a computer or even your mobile phone, in every device there is a operating system. What is the operating system in your mobile phone? We call it as Android, or if you are using like Apple mobile phones, then it is called iOS, right? So normally in the other companies we are using the Android operating system. So there is a separate operating system designed for your mobile phone. There is a separate operating system designed for your router. So when you go with CCNA, you're learning about router iOS. There is a separate operating system designed for switch. There is a separate operating system designed for your computer, for your firewall. So every device has a operating system. Router has a OS, switch has a OS, firewall has a OS, as well as your mobile phone has a OS. Every device has a operating system. Now coming to laptops and computers. Can you please tell me, friends, which operating system you are using in your laptops? Like I said, your chat box is always open. Feel free to send a message, feel free to answer the questions, and feel free to ask any question in the chat box. Okay. So my simple question to you is, yeah, Praveen, I got an answer like Windows 10. Of course, we go with normally Windows 10 or Windows 8. And nowadays we have this Windows 11 also, right, Vinay? We have these operating systems available. Okay, Linux is also there. Exactly, we'll come to that Linux now. So if you go with like operating systems in your computers, we will go with like say Windows 10. Here I can go with like Windows 8. I can go with like Windows 11 that is already released, and maybe someone is still using Windows 7, who knows, that is still possible. So Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10 and Windows 11, these are the operating systems that are designed to run on a computer or a laptop. Come again, friends. Windows 7, Windows 8 or Windows 10 or 11, actually these operating systems are designed to run on a laptop or a computer. These operating systems are known as client operating system. What they are known as? They are known as client operating systems. Got it? So we will not see a computer or a laptop which is running without a operating system. Okay. Now, in some cases, Linux operating system is also possible, but that is very rare. I can say 97 to 98% cases all over the globe. Go to any country, any company, anywhere. In your client machine, you'll be using Windows 8, 10, or 7. Okay. If it is like Apple phone, then Apple devices, then it is Mac OS, right? But normally in a client machine, we go with like client operating system like Windows 7, 8, 10, or 11. So Windows 7 is outdated actually. So we are going with like Windows 8, 10, or 11. So that is a client operating system designed specially to run on your laptop or a desktop machine. Now coming to server. What is the in server? Server is a physical machine, like I said to you before, and this server physical machine has a, of course, it has a operating system. Without operating system, a server cannot work. Without operating system, no device will work for sure. So this particular server also has a operating system. Now let us see what are the operating systems we have in server. There are actually two major operating systems we have in server, or we can use in server. One is called Windows Server operating system. This is offered by Microsoft, and the other one is Linux operating system, that is part of your Unix family. So I can say 95 to 97% cases when you see a server, in that server there can be a Windows Server operating system or it can be a Linux server operating system, Windows or Linux. In Windows, we have Windows Server 2012, 2016, 2019. There are many versions there. Under Linux, there is a Red Hat Linux, Fedora, Ubuntu, Kali, CentOS, Amazon Linux. There are again many versions there. So there is a class actually where we will see the differences between client OS and server OS and types of Windows OS, types of Linux OS. All these things we will see in details. But as a basic class, as a basic seminar here, in a server, there will be an operating system, and 95 to 98% cases, the operating system can be either Windows Server operating system or it can be Linux Server operating system. Now, this seminar is for Windows Server administration. So, we'll be learning about Windows operating system in this particular course. We are learning about Windows operating system in this course. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll just switch on a Windows Server here. There is something called VMware Workstation. So I'll just go to this machine, one of the machine, and I'll resume this machine. I'll show you how the Windows operating system will look. Maybe some of you are already aware of this Windows Server operating system, or maybe for some people it is completely new. So it will take some more time for this machine to come up. So this is a actually server machine, and this server machine has a server operating system, and I'm using Windows Server operating system here. Okay, fine. So this is your actual server operating system. Can you see at the bottom right there, it is showing Windows Server 2016, or I can just go to this run and I can say WinVer. See, it is showing Windows Server 2016 operating system here. So this operating system will be there on your server machine. Go to any company, if they are using a Windows Server operating system and if they are using Windows Server 2016 operating system, it will be the same operating system that you see right now on your screen. But many options here, right? What is the recycle bin? You're using recycle bin in your computers. You know how to change your date and time. You can see the same option. Once you go to start menu, You can see some options here like paint, notepad. You can go to like, search option. We can see some more options here. And once you click on this folder, you can enter into this PC. There is a C drive, there is a D drive, there is a desktop option, documents, downloads, videos, music, picture. You can see same options in your computer also, right? If you're using Windows 8 or Windows 10 or even Windows 11, you will see the same options available in your client operating system also, right? Exactly. Windows Server operating system and Windows Client operating system, operating wise, they are completely same. Please listen carefully, guys. Operating wise, they are completely same, whether it is Windows Server OS or Windows Client OS. Operating wise, they are completely same. But what is the difference between Windows Server OS and Windows Client OS? The major difference between Windows Server OS and Windows Client OS is in Windows Server OS, we have some extra options available. There is something called Active Directory. See, we can see some options here. Okay, I'll go to one of the option here called Active Directory users and computers and say this is your domain india.com. This is actually your company name, and there is a department here called accounts, and we have many users like Bunny, Ashwin, Arfa, Anushka, Anna. You can go to finance. In finance, you can see Federer, Faisal, Dhoni, Brahmi. You can go to like HR. In HR, you can see Jagan, John Cena, Jyoti. In IT, you can see some other users. If you go to sales, you can see some other users. If you go to programming, you can see some other users. See, this is a server. But when I install this server, actually, this is my classroom server. I'm using this server in some other classroom for some other batch. But when I installed this server, there was no Vaibhav user, there was no Maria user, there was no Mahesh user, there was no a department created with the name Python, there was no department created with the name IT, there was no user with the name Modi, there was no HR department. Okay, there was no group created with this name, there was no computer added. So what I have done, or what we have done in that particular batch, we have seen how to add a user, how to add a computer, how to create a group, how to add a OU, then how to manage all these things. This is what we are learning in that particular batch. Already the batch started like 20 days before, and we have covered this many things here. Like suppose there is a user here with the name, let's say Sachin. I can just right click on Sachin. I can go to properties of Sachin. Then I can say his full name. Sachin Tendulkar. Display name, let us say Master Blaster. Description, best batsman or batter, right? Batsman. Office, BCCI. Phone number, some phone number, email ID. So what I have done here, or what I'm doing here, I'm just configuring something in a server. There is a user created with the name Sachin, and for this Sachin user, I'm doing some configuration. So when I say Windows Server Administration, this is what I mean about Windows Server Administration. This is what we have to do in a company. Okay, so for example, imagine there is a new user joining the company, and suppose the new user name is, let's say, Rahul Dravid. So I'll just go to this programming. I'll say new. I'll say user. Username is Rahul Dravid. Logon name is, let us say, Wall. Next, I'm entering some password here. See, the Rahul Dravid is created successfully here. The user Rahul Dravid. It was not there maybe like 10 seconds before, but now the user Rahul Dravid is here. Done. This is what the Windows Server Administration is all about. So in Windows Server Administration, we need to learn about the server, the Windows Server. Okay, how to install the Windows Server. Then we have to see how to manage and how to configure our network by using this Windows Server. That is what we need to learn. Whatever I showed you just now, like users, groups, and the departments with the name Python, or programming, or maybe like HR or IT, those groups and users and computers are not there in the server by default. According to our scenario, according to our company's requirement, we have to create all the departments, we have to create all the users, and we have to manage each and every user. We have to provide security, we have to create some policies. That is what we do as a Windows Server administrator. Okay, so first take your hardware, a hardware machine or maybe a virtual machine, whatever. Then install the server operating system. Which server operating system? We have to go with like Windows Server operating system, 2012, 2016, 2019, whichever. And on top of this Windows Server operating system, we have to install something called, it's a very big terminology what I'm writing here, friends. It is called service, or it is called role. What we have to do? We have to install some services, or we have to install some roles. So the server that I showed you just now, in that server I install a service called ADDS. Which service I have installed here? ADDS. Like DNS is one service, DHCP is one service. In the same way, ADDS is one of the service. DNS service is there within the company, DNS server is there over the internet. DHCP service is there within the company, DHCP server is there over the internet. But a service like ADDS, it is specially designed to run within the company. I repeat, a service like ADDS. ADDS stands for Active Directory Domain Services. This particular service is designed specially to run within our computer network. By using this ADDS service, for example, imagine in this server, you install ADDS service. Now, you know what we can do by using this ADDS service? By using this ADDS service, you can control your whole network. It's a very big statement I'm giving here. So please listen carefully, friends. I'm saying by using this ADDS service, you can control your whole network. So what exactly controlling a network means? Controlling a network means, you know, there is a Windows 10 machine here. And suppose imagine you want to install MS Office in that Windows 10 machine. MS Office is a very common application, right? It should be there in every machine. Or suppose you are installing some antivirus. Now what we can do is by using this ADDS service from server, we can install MS Office here. Like this is one machine like Windows 7 machine. Suppose in this Windows 7 machine, for this particular user, your company requirement here is you should disable USB port. You know, every machine has a USB port. What we can connect on a USB port? We can connect a keyboard, we can connect a mouse, as well as we can connect a pen drive. A user can connect an external hard disk. So what he can do by connecting a pen drive or external hard disk? He can copy the data and he can take the data out of the company. So what is our scenario? The USB port should be disabled. So how to disable USB port? By using this Active Directory services, we can disable USB port on this computer. Maybe the server is available in first floor. Maybe this computer is available in 25th floor. So sitting on first floor, by using that server and by using these services on that server, that is your ADDS service, you can control a computer which is there in floor number 25. You can do some configuration there. You can provide some security there. You can enable something there. You can disable something there. All these things can be done by using a server. So how to do that? First of all, take a server hardware here. Take a server hardware. In this server hardware, install the server operating system. In our example, which server operating system? Windows Server operating system we have to install, and then we have to install some services or roles. So ADDS is a very important service that we need to install. It will take at least 2 weeks for us to learn ADDS, or maybe it will take more than 2 weeks actually. It will take more than 2 weeks to learn ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services. If you are good in this Active Directory Domain Services, you are eligible to get a job in any company on the face of the earth. I repeat again, friends, if you are good in this Active Directory Domain Services, you are eligible to get a job in any company. You know, when you face an interview, 80% to 85%, 80 to 85% questions, interview questions will come from these three topics: DNS, DHCP, and ADDS. I repeat, maybe you are in Hyderabad, maybe you are in Chennai, maybe someone is in Dubai, maybe someone is in UK, maybe someone is in Australia, maybe someone is in America. Wherever you are, 80 to 85% interview questions will come from these three topics, and these three topics will take nearly 80% of our course. Out of 35 days, nearly 25 or more than 25 days we are spending in learning ADDS, DHCP, and DNS services. So nearly 75 to 80% course is all about these three services. This is what we are learning in Windows Server Administration. We should know what is a server. We should know how to install the server operating system, and then we should know what services we need on a server operating system. Like what is a DNS service, how to install a DNS service, how to configure a DNS service. What is DHCP service, how to install a DHCP service, how to configure a DHCP service. In the same way, what is ADDS service, what is WDS service, what is DFS service, what is file service, what is backup service. All these things we should know how to install and how to configure. So every company on the face of the earth, if there are Windows servers available, you will see these three services in that company for sure. If you are good in these three services, then you are eligible to get a job in any company, whether it is a small company, medium company, or a very, very big company, it doesn't matter. This is your Windows Server administration. I just repeat the examples that I said you before. In this computer, like Windows 10 computer, remember what I said? If you are installing MS Office in this computer, do I need to go to that computer? No. I can use this server, and from server I can do the installation in that computer. I want to disable USB in this machine. Do I need to go to that machine to disable USB? No. I can sit on the server, and from server I can disable that USB port on that machine. Now these are the things you need to learn in your Windows Server administration. Now I hope it is clear, friends. I hope you understood what exactly is the work of a Windows Server administration. You should know how to install the Windows servers. You should know what are the services available, and you should know how to configure their services. This is the work done by every administrator in every company all over the globe. So the server that I showed you, this server. Once you go to a company, you will see exactly a server like this. Okay, users will be different. There can be some other user beside Mahesh. There can be some other user beside Maria, or maybe Pradeep or some other thing. There can be some other department. Okay, there are many more departments available, but each and every company will look like this. But once we install Windows Server OS, nothing will be there. No users, no groups, no departments, no computers, nothing will be there. Each and everything we need to configure there. Okay, one more very, very important service here. There is something called group policy management. It will take nearly 3 classes for us to see group policy. See, this is your option: deny USB, deny desktop settings, hide your D drive, E drive, all those things. Okay, deny command prompt, denying games. See, we have done many policies here. We have created many policies, we have implemented many policies, and we have successfully configured all these policies. So this particular group policy management will take 3 classes for us to complete. So like this, we have to learn our Windows Server administration, and in this Windows Server administration we will be learning how to install the server operating system, and then we'll be learning how to configure the server operating system. Okay, so just take your time here, friend. Just take 30 seconds and just try to understand what exactly we have discussed here and what exactly we have tried to understand today. It's a very, very, very basic class again. I repeat again, it's a very basic seminar. So we are not learning anything about, like, servers and all those things. That we will start from Monday when we go with the administration part. There we can see how to install server and how to configure server and all those things. But as of now, just try to understand the Windows administration part. Okay, I'm getting some problem here actually. Okay, fine. So please take your time. Just take 30 seconds and just try to understand what we have discussed in last 40 minutes. And if you have any queries and any doubts, hopefully we will address each and everything. Then we can see some more things today. See, Windows Server Administration and CCN, and that is Network Administration. If you want to pursue your career in networking, like there are many other courses like cloud computing, security, virtualization, and all the other options available. So if you want to go with any other technology, it will be great for your career if you start from Windows Server Administration and CCN. Coming to me, actually, I have like totally 12 plus years of experience. I started my career actually from Windows servers. Windows servers plus CCNA routing and switching. When I started the career, the Windows Server was like Windows Server 2003. Remember, there was a operating system called XP, Windows XP. I hope you remember this. So I started my career from Windows 98 and Windows XP. That was the client OS, and coming to the server OS, it was Windows Server 2003. Now the server OS is 2016 and 2019. So I'm just talking about 2006 actually, 2005, 2006. Okay. So then I have done CCNA plus CCNP plus CCIE. I went till the expert level in the networking, CCNA, CCNP, CCI. Fine. Then I have covered the Linux administration, then virtualization. Hmm? Actually, before virtualization and Linux, I have covered this security. Remember, I showed you some firewalls and all those things. So security. Now I'm into like cloud computing. I'll be taking AWS classes also. This is my, profile in it. This is my CV. I started in 2005. In 2005, computer hardware was a very big thing. So I started actually from computer hardware, then into server administration and like network and security, Linux, virtualization. Right now I'm into this cloud. So feel free to ask a question from any of this technology. I have experience on most of the technologies, whatever I have written here. I have covered more. See, 14 years in a particular field is some time, right? So it's not a big deal for anyone to learn this many things in 14 years. Frankly speaking, it is not a big deal. So hopefully after like some years you will be learning many other technologies. Okay, so this is my profile, and you'll be starting Windows Server Administration from Monday at 10 a.m. Starting 3 to 4 classes will be like demos. Demos in the sense we'll cover all the basics. Before we enter into the administration, we'll cover basics. We are starting from the scratch. We are starting from the very basic. If a person is here who is a fresher without any proper knowledge of computer networks or without any prior knowledge of computer networks, there is no problem. If you know how to use a computer, that is more than enough. And I know like every person knows how to use a computer, right? Like browsing and all those things. Everyone knows this, right? So if you know how to use a computer, you are 100% eligible to learn this particular course. Okay, you are 100% eligible to learn this particular course. There is no pre-requirement to learn Windows Server administration, and whatever pre-requirements are there, if there are any, I'll be covering all the pre-requirements in our demo classes. Like we'll see what is a network, what are the types of networks, okay, how to connect the devices, okay, and then how to share data, how to provide security, and how to do all these things. Okay, there is a question here. There is a very interesting question. How will this course help someone who is looking for DevOps path? See friends, no one can reach a particular location without crossing many small paths in between, many small destinations in between, right? For example, if you're traveling within a city, there are many turns there, many signals, there are many things we need to cross. So if you want to reach till DevOps, what is DevOps actually? Any idea about DevOps? Yeah, it's in very high demand. Cloud computing and DevOps, it is in high demand. Okay, but when you go with like cloud computing or virtualization or DevOps and yeah, automation, exactly. Okay, so when you go with these particular courses, there you are learning or you are getting a concept called server. You will see a server there. When you go with cloud computing, you'll see a server, you will see a router, you will see a switch, you will see something called IP addressing. All these things you will see. So actually, this is something like your post graduation, if I can say like this. Can you see a person who has not completed school or 10 plus 2 or maybe graduation without completing all those things? Can we go and learn the post graduation? Can we do masters actually, for example? No, right? There is a process for everything. From a particular place, we need to begin. Okay, we have to have the proper concept and proper knowledge of uh, all the things from the scratch up to the expert level. You will not see a DevOps engineer or a cloud engineer who has no knowledge of the server administration and the network administration. If a person is trying to learn these courses without the knowledge of server administration and network administration, he is not understanding everything there. Like I said, there is a process for everything. You need to start from a particular level and you can reach a particular level. Now you can challenge yourself and you can say next to 4 months you will reach up to like cloud computing level or DevOps level. That you can do. If you join a DevOps class today, within like 35 days, 40 days, DevOps will finish. The course will finish. But you'll be still thinking what exactly the teacher has said to you, what exactly the trainer has discussed with you, because you don't have the any other knowledge before, right? See, here I said I'm into cloud computing here, right? But before cloud computing, I started from here. Cloud computing is very, very easy for me. Virtualization is very, very easy for me. Or security is, if not very, very easy, I can say like very easy. It's not very, 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 I can just select very easy. Why it is easy for me? Because I started my career from Windows Server Administration and Network Administration. I started my career from very basics. I started my career from scratch. I started my, education from my school. I have not taken admission directly in the college, right? I have started from my school, then I did my primary school, high school, then I went to 10 plus 2, that is intermediate, what we call in India. Then after intermediate graduation, then I have done the master. So there is a process. So if you want to go till DevOps or anything, there you are, managing servers or configuring servers, everything. Computer network means it is related to servers. Computer network means the routers will be there in between. Computer network means, you should know how the data is moving between devices. So these courses, not only it will help you in cloud or DevOps or whatever other technology you want to learn in networking, like, Linux administration or virtualization or even ethical hacking, ethical hacking and all those things. Still, you should have the knowledge of Windows Server Administration and the CCNA, that is network administration. It will help you in each and every course. Got it? It will help you in each and every course. See, no one is making a career here for like next 6 months or maybe next year. Is there anyone who is saying like, okay, uh, December, like say 2022, that is after 1 year, I will take retirement. I just do work for like 1 year and I'll take retirement. Anyone here who is thinking like that? Of course, no, right? No one will think in that way. No one is making a career for only 1 year. We are making careers for next, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years, right? Most of you are maybe like 20s or maybe like early 30s or 30s, whatever. So we have to work till like maybe 50s or 60s, or else we will pay our electricity bill. There is no, if I'm not paying the bill for my internet, I'm not getting internet, right? Everything is like, commercial there. So you'll be working for many years. So if you want to make a career for next 12, 15, 20 years, try to make a career in a proper way. Don't jump from here and there. If you're jumping from here and there, it will not be, useful for the person who is learning that particular course. So if you want to start your career, start from the basics. Windows Server Administration and Network Administration, that is CCNA, will take 35 days each to finish. That means in next 40-45 days you can finish both the courses. If you want to learn parallelly, once you complete this path, then go and select a path, maybe like virtualization path, maybe like cloud computing path, or maybe like security path. After cloud computing, obviously you will be entering into DevOps. Cloud computing, you will be entering into this DevOps path. So if you want to move ahead in your career, then it will be great for your career if you start from the very basics of your technology. And Windows administration and CCNA are the most basics. I have came across many people. Okay, I'll come to the course details and fees within like 5 minutes, Shubham. I have met many people in last maybe some months or maybe some years actually, who comes to me and who says like, what is this number? If someone is a fresher or if someone has no knowledge of CCNA, I can say with 100% guarantee that person can read the number, right? 192.168.1.0/28. You can read, but reading is not a big deal here, right? The question here is, what is this number? Can you explain this number? I know no one can explain, because if you have not done CCNA, you cannot explain this number, and without understanding this number, you cannot learn anything in cloud, or maybe you cannot understand many things in DevOps. This is called IP address. This IP address concept you will be learning in CCNA. I'll just take you to one of my existing class again. Existing CCNA class. This is a running class at morning 8:30 a.m. So this is the IP addressing concept here. And in my 6th or 7th class, actually, or 5th or 6th class, at least 5th or 6th class, I'll be learning, or we will be learning this. So we are spending 5 classes. That means we are spending more than 7 hours of learning. Then you are learning what is this /28 or /29 or /19 and so. So many people who have completed cloud computing, they came to me and they said, Mr. Shakil, what is this number? 192.168.1.0. We see this number in our cloud computing. Whenever we do some configuration, we see this number. So what is this number? So my simple answer here, friends, is without understanding the number, how can you finish that particular topic? There is a topic in cloud computing called VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. Without understanding this 1.0/28 number, how can you finish this particular topic? It will take 3 to 4 classes in cloud computing to complete this. It is literally not possible for anyone to learn this topic in cloud computing without understanding this number. So the trainer who is training you this cloud computing, he will select, okay, 192.168.1.0/28 is our network. That's it. He will not explain what is this /28, what is 192.168.1.0, because in cloud computing, no one should explain this, because this is not part of your cloud computing. Means it is not part of the course of your cloud computing. It is there in your CCNA course. There you have to learn. Like suppose someone is pursuing BSc mathematics, for example. He is not going to learn in BSc mathematics like 2 plus 2 is how much, right? It is again a very big joke here, right? If I select 2 in BSc mathematics, you are learning 2 plus 2 is how much, that you have already covered in maybe first class. So like this, the career will move. Okay, you should start from a particular level and you can go up to like very high level. Okay, now what are the advantages you have in learning this course with this Durgasoft? First of all, I'll be taking you to this Windows Server administration, and we'll be learning Windows Server 2016. Or if you want to go with like Windows Server 2019, I don't have any problem with that also. You can go with any. Fine. I'll be covering this course here, and this is our course. Beside this, I'll be taking CCNA also. I'll be taking Linux administration, as well as I'll be taking AWS classes here. But coming to this course, what are the advantages you have? The first advantage here is each and every class is recorded. This seminar is also recorded. This seminar will be uploaded on YouTube channel of Durgasoft. This seminar will be uploaded on the YouTube channel of the Durgasoft. See, there is a YouTube channel they have here. See, each and every session will be uploaded here. So we can say like Core Java, AWS, Java, Oracle, Python, and all those things. So this is one of the courses. Here you can see our this advertisement of this particular seminar. So this seminar will be uploaded on this YouTube channel within like 2 hours. So when we start demos from Monday, each and every class demos will be like around 4 demos will be there. All these 4 demos will be uploaded on YouTube. But once you finish 4 demos, 4 or 3 or 5 demos, we will start our administration part. So this administration part will be shared directly with you. So from day number 1, that is today, till the last day of your course, each and every class will be recorded. Each and every class is recorded, and each and every recording will be shared with you. Okay, let me just show you one of my existing class again. This is my morning 8:30 CCNA class. So see, the recordings are already shared with them. So all these are recordings. I just started a class like week ago. You can just see the recordings here. It will be like this. Okay, fine. So every class is recorded. That is one of the recording I showed you. So each and every class will be shared with you. That is the one thing. Second thing here is you will get some lab books. I'll share these lab books with you, because when you do practicals, you should know uh, these steps, right? So all these steps will be covered in our classroom, but when you do practicals, it is very difficult for you to like watch a video and do the practical, right? So once you attend a class, you understand the concept, so you can do the practical easily if the book is available with you. So I already created a book. I'll share that book with you. And I have to share some softwares. Without softwares you cannot do practice. You need some. I'll show you how to install, how to download, and how to install Windows Server 2016 operating system, that I'll show you. Then there are some other softwares that I need to share with you, like VMware Workstation and some other softwares. I'll share all the softwares with you. And the fourth advantage here is interview questions and answers. I've already created like around 200 to 220 interview questions and answers. These interview questions and answers are related to Windows Server administration and network administration. And I can say with 100% guarantee, wherever you face an interview, whichever city, whichever country, whichever continent, the interview questions will be like 80 to 90% questions will be same. All over the globe on a particular technology, interview questions will be same. So these are the advantages you have in attending classes here. So you'll get each and every class as a recorded class. You'll get lab books, softwares, and interview question and answers. All will come in the same fees. And how much is the fees? I'll be sharing this fees in the chat box, because right now the fees is something after like maybe some days, after like maybe January, after like actually Sankrantri, the fees may change, fees may increase. Okay, so I cannot share the fees here because this video will be there on YouTube forever. So I can just say the duration here. Duration is for like 35 days, and every week we have minimum 5 classes, and some weeks we have like 6 classes also, that we will decide, but every week minimum 5 classes. And coming to fees, please just check it. The fees is this much. I have just sent the fees in the chat box. Sorry, I'll just send to everyone. So this is the fees, friends. This is the fees as of now, but after some days maybe the fees can change. This is a festival season, so this is the fees. Okay, networking part will be covered. That is the question. Networking part will be covered in CCNA. Can you see this? This is your CCNA classroom. So networking part will be covered in CCNA actually. This is your Windows Server administration, right? So we'll be covering the Windows Server administration. That is the server administration part, not the network administration part. Okay, there is a very good question coming here actually. Can we gain knowledge like an experienced person like 2 to 3 years? There is a big question. See, if you follow all my classes, if you follow all the classes, and if you just do what I ask you to do, like after every class I ask you to like, okay, this is a practical you should do, this is the interview questions you will face, and these are the things that will be there in companies and all those things. If you follow what I'm saying here, it will be very easy for you to gain a knowledge of like 2 to 3 years of person, experienced person for sure. Just follow what I'm saying, then it will be very easy for you to like gain that much knowledge. Okay, we'll be starting from the very basics, and we'll go up to like 2 or 3 years of experienced person. As of now I don't have any Linux classes, Vinay. I'll be starting Linux classes after like Sankrantri. So this is again a festival season. Christmas is coming, New Year is coming, then Sankrantri is coming. So I'm not starting many batches as of now, so it will be like after some days, after Sankrantri. So cloud computing and all these things I'll start then. This is a batch I'm starting from uh, Monday at 10 a.m. Okay, I'll be covering these courses here actually. CSP, CCNA, Linux, and AWS. These are the courses I'm covering here. But this course is for MCAC, right? This is only for Windows Server Administration from Monday at 10 a.m. So whenever you come for any session, whether it is seminar session or whether it is a work demo session or whether it is a real classroom session, please try to keep this chat box as busy as possible. Your one question can help you as well as help the other people in the room, in the classroom, and this one question can clear many other doubts actually. The advantage of having a classroom's online session is online live session is you can ask a question. If you take only recordings, you can just pay the money and you can take the recordings of the previous course, the class that I finished like yesterday. You can take the recordings. But what is the disadvantage? What is the advantage if you take the recordings without have the option of asking a question? So the great advantage you have in attending a online session with a trainer is you have the opportunity to clear your doubt at that moment only. And if you're taking the doubt for next day or 2 days or 3 days, you're putting a lot of burden on yourself. In networking especially, always remember one thing: one class is connected to second class, fifth class is connected to sixth class, 15th class is connected to 16th class. So always try to clear your doubt on that particular day only. Okay, so that's it friends, that's it from me for today. But I'll be here like for some more time. I'll be here for like a couple of minutes. I'm getting very good questions here. So if you have any other doubts, any other questions regarding any technologies, I showed you my resume, I showed you my CV, so I have like experience on many technologies. So you can feel free to ask anything. And coming to the course structure, the course syllabus actually, once we finish our demo session, whatever mail ID you have provided there, on that mail ID you will get a uh, email from Durgasoft, and in that email the course fees and the course structure, the course details, everything will be mentioned there. Okay, and in case if you're not getting any message, you will get a message for sure, 100%. But in case if you have not get any message, then please contact on this number. These are the numbers actually. You can contact on any of this number. You can send an email to Durgasoft Online Solutions and you will get all the course details there. Course details and fee structure, everything will be shared by the management. So once you finish the course, within like 2 hours, all the details will be shared with you through email. Okay friends, so thanks again for joining this session and very good luck for you guys. Very good luck for your career and very good luck for the day. And like I said, Monday 10 a.m. I'll be starting the demo sessions. Okay, first class will be a basic class about computer networks and all those things. So 3-4 classes, I'll just prepare you to like go for a administration course. Without having the basic knowledge of computer networks and all those things, it's very difficult for you to understand the administration. So I'll starting from the very basic, and each and every class will be uploaded on YouTube or it will be shared with you directly. So don't worry about recording, each and everything will be shared with you. Okay, thanks a lot again for joining and good luck for you, and hope to see you again on Monday at 10 a.m. Take care guys, bye.